Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. A man was arrested in Yucca Valley for investigation into stealing mail from several neighbors. On Sunday morning at around 2 a.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies conducted a pedestrian check near the intersection of Yucca Trail and Frontera Avenue in Yucca Valley. Deputies say they contacted Josh Tarbalangle, a 43-year-old local resident. Deputies say Tarbalangle possessed several pieces of mail that did not contain his name. They confirmed the mail had been taken from multiple mailboxes in the area of Yucca Trail and Frontera Avenue without the victim's knowledge or permission. Deputies took Tarbalangle into custody and returned the mail to the respective victims. Josh Tarbalangle was arrested on suspicion of mail theft and was booked into the Morongo Basin Jail. He has since been released on bail. The Morongo Basin's first earthquake of 2026 slightly shook parts of Southern California yesterday. Online news editor Robert Hayden shakes down the details.
A magnitude 4.9 earthquake originating approximately 12 miles north of Indio was felt around the high desert yesterday just before 6 p.m. The epicenter sits about 26 miles south of Joshua Tree on the south side of Joshua Tree National Park. Data from the United States Geological Survey, or USGS, had reports of shaking felt from areas as far away as Barstow and San Diego, with some light shaking felt here in the Morongo Basin. The 4.9 earthquake originated 3 kilometers below the Earth's surface, and 5 smaller magnitude aftershocks were recorded shortly after in the area. A 4.9 magnitude earthquake can create moderate shaking that's strong enough to overturn some objects or break a window. However, there were no reported injuries or structural damage from yesterday's earthquake. The largest earthquake originating from the same area was the 6.2 Joshua Tree earthquake on April 22, 1992, which preceded the devastating 7.3 Landers earthquake 2 months later. Yesterday's shaker is a good reminder that natural disasters strike suddenly and without warning, leaving you little time to prepare. In the case of any earthquake, drop to the floor and head for safety under a table, desk, doorway, or other sturdy overhead structure, and make sure you know where your gas and water shutoffs are, and make a safe place for friends and family members to meet in case phone service is down. Some smart things to store in case of emergency is water, non-perishable food, first aid, phone chargers, and of course, a portable radio. You can find more information about yesterday's quake, along with more natural disaster preparation tips at this story at Z107.7FM.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors meets in regular session tomorrow afternoon. On their agenda is the possible purchase of a trailer for the district's dump truck and a report on surplus and disposals from the district's Director of Finance. The Joshua Basin Water District Board of Directors meets tomorrow, Wednesday at 5 p.m. at their district office located at 61750 Choyita Road in Joshua Tree. Good news for those who have been waiting the last 2.5 years for the boardwalk at Big Morongo Canyon Preserve to reopen. Repairs are finally underway with a hopeful finish date in mid-February. Reporter Gabriel Hart spoke to BMCP Executive Director Kevin Wong about the long wait and what will go into finishing the expensive project in time for an annual visit from a special creature.
Since Tropical Storm Hilary damaged the preserve in August of 2023, the boardwalks have remained in disrepair primarily around the water bridges. Because there are 2 waterways in the preserve, those areas must be protected by the Army Corps of Engineers and the California State Water Board. Combined with additional environmental assessments, Preserve Director Kevin Wong said those permitting issues took longer than anticipated, along with the county decided where they were going to get the funds from.
The biggest delay was the county deciding where they're going to get the money from. They decided not to take it out of annual budget because it was obviously not going to happen within that year. So then they decided to take it out of capital reserves. Then the other process was the planning department coming up with a true plan. There's 4 areas that they are going to work on, and they've started working on 2 of those areas right now. Got the boardwalks pulled out, strengthening the rest of the boardwalk so they can attach the components.
Work on the boardwalk started on Monday, January 5th, and Wong said they are racing to get it finished to make way for one of their fine-feathered annual VIP visitors.
My migratory bird, the least Bell's vireo, arrives, which is a federally endangered bird that nests alongside of the boardwalk, and they can't do any work that might disturb the nesting. The least Bell's vireo. And its nesting season by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is from mid-February to mid-September. So with any luck, they'll finish this within a month, provided that there are no weather issues, in which case then we can open up the boardwalk and get it back to normal use.
Wong says the boardwalk repairs are the first phase of a two-part improvement project to the preserve, followed by a full repaving of the parking lot and driveway handled by the San Bernardino Department of Public Works. While he says the preserve's parking lot and driveway will be closed for the 4 to 5 day job, visitors are still welcome to walk over from parking at Covington Park. For more information, please visit bigmorongo.org. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Gabriel Hart.
The San Bernardino County Education Medal of Honor is now accepting nominations for the 35th Annual Education Medal of Honor Awards. The annual awards recognize individuals and organizations for exceptional service to the field of education within San Bernardino County. The program highlights those whose leadership has fostered meaningful impact on education and the community at large. Nominations for the 35th Annual Education Medal of Honor are being accepted in a number of categories, and anyone working in education here in the Morongo Basin, whether or not they are employed by the MUSD, is eligible. You can find a list of categories and a link to the application in this story at our website, Z107.7fm.com. And finally, a production of Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical Cinderella is being cast at Theater 29. Arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas gives you the deets on how to be a part of making impossible things happen.
Theater 29 is delighted to announce open auditions for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, a fresh adaptation of the timeless musical tale. This contemporary take features Rodgers and Hammerstein's most beloved songs, including In My Own Little Quarter, Impossible It's Possible, and 10 Minutes Ago, along with an up-to-date, hilarious, and romantic libretto by Tony Award nominee Douglas Carter Bean. Cinderella will not only discover the power within herself to shape her destiny, she'll also play a pivotal role in helping the prince find the confidence needed to lead his kingdom towards a more just world. Auditions will be held on Sunday, January 25th, starting at 6 p.m. on the theater's main stage. The show will run weekends from March 27th through April 12th. The production will be casting up to 25 adult cast members with a principal cast of 10. While there are some children's roles, only performers aged 14 and older will be considered. Audition details and other information is available at theater29.org/auditions. Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella will be produced in partnership with Visit 29. Reporting for Z107.7, this is arts and entertainment reporter Charlie Thomas.
That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.